The bright lady smiles upon our meeting.
What is up, you guys? This is All Day Day One on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you a build breakdown update for Storm. So let's go ahead and take a look at her traits. Her two main attributes are speed and energy. She also gets a 5% brutal strike chance increase. For her resource, it's called Tempest. Tempest generates while in combat and never decays. When Tempest is filled, activate Tempest Surge. You also get the buff effect Tempest Surge. Tempest cannot be generated and decays at rates of minus 50 per second. Base damage and base attack speed is increased by 20%. Movement speed increased by 20%. Base damage increased by 20%, and dodge chance increased by 20%. Cloak of Wind on the right box. You get health gained 210 health per second. This effect is tripled for 4 seconds when you fall below 35% of your max health once every 10 seconds. You gain deflect and dodge rating multipliers of 20%, deflect and dodge rating base by 600. Now onto her abilities. I'm using Billion Volt Strike, Serico. Okay, actually, so Billion Volt Strike is on triangle, Lightning Storm is on square, Crashing Hail is on circle, Circle Rush, the dash ability, is on L2 circle, Gale Force Wind is on X, Storm Surge is on L2 square, Sudden Tornadoes is on L2X, Typhoon is on L2 triangle. And then my talents, I'm using Arctic Winds, and then what Arctic Winds does, it gives you 5% increase in crit chance. Gale Force Winds and Sudden Tornadoes reduce attack and movement speed by 40% for 4 seconds. Micro Burst 150%, and that, I mean, you're not even using Micro Burst. Freezes enemies in the center of its area for 2 seconds. I mean, Micro Burst would be good if you can fit that in there. If you replace it with something, it's just it gets that 6-second cooldown, but it can freeze the enemies for 2 seconds. So the next talent is Freezing Tempest. While Tempest Surge is active, you gain a 10% base damage. Damage is increased. You get 1974 damage and 35% slow. So you can slow your enemies by 35% attack and movement speed. Healing Rain. So with Healing Rain, it does rapid heal. Typhoon cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds. Typhoon applies rapid healing. Rapid healing, it gives you 20% of your max health for 3 seconds. The next one is Billion Volt Strike. So for Billion Volt Strike, it says Thundering Maelstrom transforms into Billion Volt Strike. Billion Volt Strike is a powerful lightning power that targets a large area. And then the next one is Fury of the Storm. Tempest Surge gains the effects of Lightning Tempest and Gusting Tempest. So now for my synergies, all the synergies that I'm using Angela, Beast, Gambit, Hawkeye, Iceman, Scarlet Witch, Squirrel Girl, Storm, Thor, and War Machine. The reason why I'm using Beast is obviously for his synergy. I don't care for his melee at all, but yeah, mainly the synergy, and as well as Angela for her synergy and the cooldown power damage. And then I'm using War Machines as well for the synergy and the plus 10 Tempest. Now for my Infinity points, I put I put 8 points into Deep Thought, so that way I get more Tempest. And then I put the rest of my points into Energy, 5 points into Energy, and the rest into Deep Thought. Now, if you don't have 25 points, or if you do have 25 points, but you have some points left over, I would either go Mental Focus for the extra crit damage, mainly Deep Thought, so that way you can always have more Tempest. Probably, maybe Strike Through for the extra brutal damage. Potency for the signature base damage. The inner resilience for health on hit. Micro orbs or gravity well for more survivability. And temporal loophole for the movement and attack speed. For my gear, I have pretty okay gear. I still need to try to farm for better gear, but it's not bad. For my artifact, I'm using the Hand of Doom, Advanced Reserve Electrical Generator, and Cargo's Rewrites. So what I would probably do is I would probably replace the Cargo's Rewrites with, I want to say, probably the Tanya's Love Letter. Either that one or some, I can't think of one right now, but yeah, Tanya's Love Letter is what I would replace this with, which you can get from farming Soren. You can get the Advanced Reserve Electrical Generator from Electro, and Hand of Doom, you can get that from fighting Doom in Castle Doom, or the Doom bots in Patrol. The mods you want to put on your artifacts are the efficiency modifications. That way you don't use up that much Tempest when you're when you get Tempest, so that way you can have more Tempest overall. I'm using Complete Relic of Xander. You can either use Complete Relic of Xander or a Complete Relic of Gibberim. That way you can have more Tempest, and you'll have that Tempest stuff going on. If you use Relic of Xander, you're going to be getting that range buff, range damage increase. On my Catalyst, I get 47 Tempest, 4.1% less damage from enemy area powers, regenerate 25% of your health up to 3,000, and 100 Tempest when you use your medkit, plus 3 energy. After using a signature, you gain 1,000 damage rating for 4 seconds. My mutation bonus, gain 1,000 health per second for 10 seconds when your health drops below 40%, 30-second cooldown. Definitely not a good medallion, the Dupe medallion. I'm just using it for the crit hit. A good medallion would be Mandarin's medallion, Electro's medallion, or Pyro's medallion. Pyro's because the damage over time for the fire damage applies to any ranged attacks. So that would definitely be good for any character that uses ranged. Mandarin's is good because that one applies to, that gives you more range damage, and then Electro's because whenever you use an electric ability, you gain like a small damage increase, whatever, in electric, like it does damage. And then for my legendary item, I'm using Cascade of Winters, rank 1. You get 2,000 damage rating to ice powers. Rank 2, you get 2,000 damage rating to wind powers. Rank 3, you get 2,000 damage rating to electric powers. Rank 4, you get 1,000 damage rating to enemies that are slowed. And then rank 5, you get 5% chance when you hit to summon a deadly snowstorm that slows enemies and deals 5,000 damage twice per second for 5 seconds. It's a 5-second cooldown. So rank 5 would pretty much proc consistently because the damage over time on Storm is just crazy. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of her abilities. So this is X. What this would do is it'll push enemies and it'll slow them down as well. And as you can see on the bottom, that blue bar is your Tempest Surge. And the Tempest Surge will do that damage over time as well. And it also casts that Wind Aura. And also with X, it generates. So I'll read it. It says for Gale Force Winds, damage is 6357 twice per second. And Tempest generated is 3% of max Tempest per second. Projectile reflect chance is 25%. So you have a 25% chance to deflect projectiles. And you also get 3% of your Tempest Surge back. As you can see, my Tempest Surge is coming back pretty fast. So on Square, this is what my Square does. It shoots out lightning and does lightning damage over time. And then this is Circle. It drops hail of snow, whatever it's what is it called? I don't remember any of my abilities. Crashing hail. So it drops snow and pretty much slows your enemies. It doesn't freeze them, but it slows them. Oh, the next ability is L2X. So this does damage over time as well, and it'll also it basically summons. It's a summon ability, so it'll summon tornadoes for you. This is triangle. So it casts a nice giant arc of lightning on your enemies, and then this is L2 triangle, your signature. What I normally do is use L2 triangle, and then I use L2 square. L2 square casts lightning and what is it? I completely forgot. Storm Surge. Yeah. So with this one it's lightning and tornadoes, and it's also 100% crit hit chance. And what's nice is when you use your signature, you also get that back L2 square. So for my rotation, I'll just wait till all these abilities are done with, and then I'll show you what I do with my rotation. Man, I actually go with my signature first. So what I do is I normally pop my signature, L2X, then L2 square, and then I use square, circle, triangle, and then I start popping tornadoes. Start using X, and then I'll pop square and circle occasionally whenever I feel like they need the damage over time on it has ran out. And then L2 triangle, X, L2 circle, and that's basically it. So in my opinion, I feel like Storm is definitely the best crowd control AoE damage over time character to have in a party. She can definitely, well, not best crowd control, definitely Angela. Anyone that can use confuse definitely helps. It's unfortunate she doesn't have confused, but yeah, she's definitely one of the best crowd controllers in the game, in my opinion. She can slow, freeze, I don't think she can immobilize, but her slows are really good. It's basically like she's immobilizing the enemies. But yeah, so if this video helped you out at all, go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know. And that's basically it. If you have any artifact or medallion suggestions, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section as well. This is all day in day one on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.